Financial services are going digital fast. Nearly half now use generative AI, while compliance costs have jumped 60%, piling pressure to innovate safely. Joining us is Sinchan Banerjee from KPMG Singapore to discuss this. So, Sinchan, let's start with the trends. Which ones might shape the future of financial services in a digital-first world?
We really see a convergence of three transformative forces across the region, namely AI, tokenization, and real-time infrastructure. Now, these aren't just buzzwords. They are driving fundamental changes across the financial services industry. So let me take you through a little bit more of them. Firstly, talking about AI in Singapore, we observe the early signs of a very maturing market, with financial institutions moving from pilot programs to real-world production use cases. Firms are increasingly looking to embed AI across their value chain, and the use cases vary from customer engagement to risk management through to compliance. Secondly, digital assets adoption also continues to be on the rise, with ever-increasing interest from institutional investors to get exposure to this emerging asset class. Regulators are also leading critical initiatives, bringing together policymakers and industry participants to drive key initiatives such as tokenization of assets. And finally, the shift towards real-time markets, such as T+1 settlements, near instantaneous payments. These are further compressing timelines and increasing pressure on existing operating model and legacy systems. We're also observing an increased usage of RegTech and FinTech firms to drive both operational and cost efficiencies. Now, all this adoption is enabling financial services firms to respond to real-time market shifts with intelligence, adaptability, and speed. So overall, I would say that these trends position financial services at a very strategic inflection point, where business transformation is working hand in hand with risk and controls to drive some strategic change in a digital-first economy.
But as you know, modernization may be a make or break point for many. So how can firms modernize risk and compliance without slowing innovation?
That's a great question, Seth, and it's a one that I often hear from CXOs. So let me share some of my thoughts. I think the key is to reframe risk not as a constraint, but as a catalyst to unlock opportunities. Now, modernizing risk and compliance are not just about adding layers of control. It's about redesigning them to be intelligent, to be adaptive, to be automated, and to be seamlessly embedded into your business. Now, when done right, in our experience, controls can accelerate innovation by creating trust, transparency, and the right amount of speed in the ecosystem. To give you some examples, at KPMG in Singapore, we led a digital custody program where we designed the control framework to address new risks, such as private key management and the decentralized infrastructure challenges. We built it for security and speed, but also to support the product innovation and the growth of the firm in question. In another use case, we have extensively been working on T+1 trade control redesign using real-time exception management and innovative technologies to drive speed and precision across the trade lifecycle. Now, these are some of the examples what's possible when risk and compliance come together and they're treated as strategic enablers to the business. At KPMG, we help clients build control environments that are adaptive, they're data-driven, and that are aligned with innovation, so they can move fast, stay fast, and continue to drive growth of the business.
Overall, Sinchan, for you, what cultural or organizational shifts are essential for successful digital transformations?
Let me share some of my thoughts on that. Now, the foundation of a successful digital transformation is cultivating a culture that balances innovation with risk awareness. In my experience of leading transformation programs across complex global financial institutions, the most resilient and the most successful organizations foster this mindset built on collaboration, accountability, and agility. In many institutions, risk management and innovation are often siloed. However, in the digital-first world, this integration is absolutely essential. This means removing barriers between business, risk, compliance, and technology to drive a shared ownership of business outcomes. It's also very important to embrace the culture of continuous learning. As technologies evolve, whether it's AI or blockchain or digital assets products and services, leaders must stay informed and keep an open mind about the evolution of business, about the regulatory frameworks and developments, and the opportunities that arise with that. Now, this proactive approach helps organizations anticipate requirements and stay ahead of the change. But also, most importantly, it's about empowering teams with the right tools, data, and autonomy. And in our view, this enables them to solve problems and drive innovations more responsibly. Now at KPMG, we help clients build not just such strategies, but also provide the execution to drive the right capabilities and culture to drive a transformation that lasts.
Thank you so much for your time today, Sinchan. Looking forward to having you back on the program.
Thank you.
Once again, that was Sinchan Banerjee, Partner for Financial Services Consulting at KPMG in Singapore. For more news, visit asianbankingandfinance.net.